All right, welcome everyone. We are just starting this webinar. Please, if you haven't already, introduce yourself in the chat, share your name, where you're joining us from, your organization, your pronouns. We would also love to know why you decided to join us today and what your expectations are from this session. And so before we also get any started, just a quick note, we do have closed captioning available in English for those who wish to follow that. You can find the option to activate it in the bottom menu of your Zoom screen. It says live script and then choose the view full transcript option so that you can see the subtitles. We also have Spanish interpretation available, so I will speak in Spanish for a moment so that our Spanish-speaking audience can access the interpretation, so bear with me for a second. Hola a toda nuestra audiencia hispanohablante, bienvenidas, bienvenidos. Esta sesión tiene la opción de interpretación simultánea en español. Y para poder acceder a esta, busca en el menú al inferior de la pantalla de Zoom y haz clic en donde dice interpretación o interpretation. Ahí aparecerá la opción de escuchar en español. Y para hacerlo desde un móvil es ligeramente distinto y la explicación completa la puedes encontrar en el chat, pero busca un botón de puntos suspensivos o que diga más y de ahí se desplegarán las opciones. Ahora voy a volver a hablar en inglés, pero a partir de este momento en que selecciones la opción de interpretación en español, podrás escuchar a Ada, nuestra maravillosa intérprete. Bueno, ahora sí voy a volver a hablar en inglés. Okay, so I'm switching back to English, and for all of you that are English speaking, I will share the same instructions as you will also need to select the English interpretation. This is because one of our panelists will speak in Spanish, and in order for you to understand her, you'll need to select the interpretation option at the bottom menu of the Zoom screen, and then click on English. And then that way, when our panelist speaks in Spanish, you will listen to Ada, our wonderful interpreter in English. So that way we can all understand each other. If you remain in the English room, you will still be able to listen to the rest of us in the original language. All right, so let's get started. I am Ana Lozano, and I lead advocacy at WorldPulse. Thank you for joining us at this pivotal moment when technology has proved to be more important than ever, but unfortunately, there's still a long way to go to make tech equitable for all. And the day when we do have truly equal tech, we will be able to speed up the pace to gender equality overall. In order to achieve that, all of us are needed to make a true transformation in tech, and today we'll talk about some pathways forward. Before we start, we just want to share a quick overview of the session. We will begin by sharing a bit about WorldPulse and our She Transforms Tech campaign, its key findings, and the recommendations that women around the world gave for creating and achieving gender justice in technology. And from there, we'll transition to the heart of the hour. We'll hear from 5 women change makers from 5 countries who are working to transform technology to transform their communities or even their countries. Finally, we'll look at where we go from here to keep these voices at the forefront of shaping and reimagining an equitable tech future. We'd also like to thank Equals and the Generation Equality Forum, who are WorldPulse partners and part of the She Transforms Tech Coalition. They are also co-hosting this event. 2 weeks before the Generation Equality Forum in Paris, we're excited to share the work we've done to hear about the power of technology to bring about gender justice and the opportunities we have to improve tech. We're also very pleased to share WorldPulse's official commitment as a commitment maker, so stay tuned for that because we'll talk about this by the end of the session. Now, a bit about WorldPulse to give you some context. We are committed to promoting the empowerment of women through technology, more specifically Sustainable Development Goal 5B, defined by the UN as enhancing the use of enabling technology, in particular information and communications technology, to promote the empowerment of women. For over a decade, World Pulse has used technology to grow women's leadership across the globe, providing a safe digital refuge where women unite to tell their stories, share resources, start businesses and projects together, make meaningful connections, and launch movements. We are an independent, women-led, safe global social network and storytelling platform for social change. On World Pulse, women from across 190 countries are connecting to create a world both online and off, where all women thrive. On the slide, we have included a map where countries with World Pulse members are highlighted in orange. So because we know the power of digital tools and their current limitations, World Pulse launched a participatory research and crowdsourced campaign to hear directly from women and non-binary individuals on the challenges and opportunities tech affords. At the beginning of the global COVID-19 pandemic, World Pulse engaged grassroots women leaders and often underrepresented communities from around the world on key technology issues and opportunities. We'll share a link right now in the chat so that you can download the report if you haven't already, and also find sector-specific recommendations that came directly from the women. She Transforms Tech was backed by 27 coalition partners who worked with us to help spread the word about the campaign and to back the creation of a new tech agenda that works for women. We heard from respondents in more than 60 countries through a survey and personal narratives on the topic of gender justice in tech. We released the report in the spring of 2021, and it includes 1, key findings related to digital empowerment, women's tech concerns and priorities, women's tech access and use, digital safety, and most importantly, recommendations for policymakers, tech companies, and individuals related to digital empowerment, technology access, online safety, and more. Stories from women and in their own words on how they utilize tech for good and how tech can do better to support women's leadership. And finally, there are special highlights on the impact of COVID on technology access and use, improving access for those with disabilities, and advancing gender transformative digital skills training, along with chronicling the barriers and concerns that limit women's ability to fully benefit from technology. She Transforms Tech presents solutions and a way forward. As I mentioned, you will find the link in the chat so that you can download the report. And by the way, we're also aiming to have a Spanish version of the report soon. Now, I am pleased to be joined today by World Pulse CEO and founder, Jensine Larsen. Jensine is an award-winning digital impact entrepreneur, international journalist, and expert on technology to strengthen global women's power. She will now start us off today to introduce the She Transforms Tech campaign and share high-level findings before introducing our panelists.
Thank you, Anna, and greetings to everyone, as well as the many World Pulse members and partners who I know are watching us across the globe. There is a frequent saying at World Pulse that my hands may be on the keyboard, but my feet are on the ground. And so as we gather here today, I want to honor the original peoples of the land where I am, the Multnomah, the Kathlamet, the Chinook, and many other tribes of the Columbia River Basin in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. So when I read the report, when I took in the 120 pages, on one hand, the findings reinforce existing data, surveys, barriers, strategies that many of us are familiar with, especially those that digital rights and feminist activists are calling out, and just added another exclamation point. On the other hand, what I found so unique was the rich depth of the voices, the storytelling that gave such power and life to the statistics, and also breaking the third wall of typical reports where there's a pathway where you can actually connect directly to the storytellers, to those that are voicing, and partner with them. Secondly, the other big takeaway was the positive path forward that this report charts. We hear overwhelmingly of the dangers, the cyber violence, the cyber attacks, the lack of privacy and cyber crime. But here the message was clear. We saw 91% of respondents said that technology on the whole was a positive force in their lives. And there's this resounding call to want the world to move beyond this paralysis of doom and gloom and seize this moment to truly make tech our own and to propel the potential for global women's leadership and gender justice movements. And just the energy, the vision, the leadership that exists in communities everywhere is just leaps off the page, and that we need to invest in it and we need to tap into it. So if anything is for sure coming out of reading this report, it's that we must continue to listen to these voices, many of those that are watching today, and heed their advice so we can realize the elusive and transformative potential of technology. And right now, to highlight the findings, I'm so pleased to turn it over to Dr. Jasmine Linneberry, our partner. She is an expert in transnational feminist online spaces. This is her life quest. And Jasmine has spearheaded the participatory findings. So Jasmine, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you so much, Jensina. As mentioned earlier, the She Transforms Tech report brings together data from a global survey of women and non-binary individuals run in 3 languages and crowdsourced narratives. Consistent with our values, preliminary findings of this report were shared back through a participatory online workshop with a group of women leaders who are working toward gender justice in tech, which further informed the analysis and recommendations. The report confirmed what we at World Pulse see every day. Through technology, women are becoming empowered and taking action to improve their lives and the lives of others. At World Pulse, we define digital empowerment as a process enabled by technology by which women come to act on their ability to affect change despite constraints. Participants in this study reinforce this framework. Technology enables women to gain access to resources, connect with others, and raise their voices, all of which have contributed to their empowerment. Women are using technology to make changes in their own lives and the lives of others. According to participants, technology has enabled them to enact agency in 3 key ways. First, participants have mobilized technology to make decisions for themselves and take actions on personal goals, including learning about and securing their rights, advancing their careers, expanding their businesses, and living independently. Second, participants have utilized technology to lead in and beyond their communities with the aim of improving lives of others, including advocating for marginalized groups, designing tech tools for women, disseminating knowledge, securing funding to address needs, and utilizing data for social good. And third, participants have engaged in technology as a tool for collective action, including for building solidarity, collaborating with others, mobilizing offline action, and powering movements. While technology can enable women's empowerment, we also know that there are real and severe barriers that are limiting women from accessing and fully utilizing the power of tech. Women's concerns and priorities speak to pressing issues that demand further attention to make technology more equitable. These are the top 4 concerns and priorities participants have regarding technology. Number 1, privacy and data concerns. Number 2, misinformation. Number 3, online harassment and tech-enabled violence. And number 4, safety and security. Access is, of course, a huge issue. Top hindrances to getting online, according to participants, include quality of internet connection, safety and security concerns, financial constraints, time constraints, and access to functioning devices. In terms of safety, the numbers are grim. 75%, and let me repeat this, 75%, or 3 in 4 participants indicated that they had personally experienced some form of online harassment or abuse through technology. Examples of some of the forms of online harassment and abuse participants experienced include 27.6% being stalked online, 27.4% reported being sexually harassed online, and 13.5% reported having a romantic partner use technology to hurt them emotionally or psychologically. These data are sad. but also not surprising, and reinforce what we have heard in other reports. But those that are most impacted also hold the solutions. And in this report, we focused on identifying actions and recommendations that individuals, policymakers, and tech companies must do to make tech equitable. So we'd like to share with you now the top 10 actions recommended by participants from this report. Number 1, more digital skills training offered. 2, more women in decision-making in tech. 3, stronger laws against online harassment and abuse. 4, more women in decision-making in government. And 5, more women digital teachers and trainers. Additionally, number 6, better privacy protections. 7, more transparency about data usage. 8, better online communities for women. 9, free or low-cost internet access. And 10, more accountability for tech companies. Because of the work and programming we offer, World Pulse is invested in several of these recommendation areas, which you're going to hear more about and among the panelists today. These include more digital skills training, stronger laws against online harassment and abuse, more digital teachers and trainers that are women, and better online communities for women. This has been just a brief snapshot, so we encourage you to download the report for full details and rich stories and recommendations. But now I'll turn it over to Jensine and our panelists.
Thank you, Jasmine. So right now, let's bring this to life with voices from the report. This is the best part. I would like to invite to the virtual stage 4 amazing leaders from 4 different countries who are leading digital skills training, participating in better online communities for women, pushing for new laws against online harassment. And then as a bonus, we have a 5th speaker from Fiji, Sharon Bagan Rolls, who is sleeping right now. So to be kind to her, we've recorded her segment. But let's start. I would like to pass the mic to our panelists, have you speak for yourselves, introduce yourselves very briefly. And let's start. Well, we'll have Carolyn go first, then Olympia, Veronica, and Kirti. Carolyn, take it away.
Thank you so much, Jensine. Hello, everyone. I'm Caroline Seaman from Nigeria, and I'm the founder and creative director of Girls' Voices Initiative. I train girls in digital skills to speed up the journey toward gender equality. And so far, I've trained more than 1,200 girls to use technology because I believe that digital skills are the key to empowering girls and changing the world. Thank you, Jensine.
Y Olympia?
Hola, yo soy Olympia Coral Melo, soy mexicana, soy feminista, formo parte del Frente Nacional para la Sororidad y Defensoras Digitales, una colectiva de territorio que luchamos por prevenir, erradicar y combatir la violencia digital en México y abiertas a ya trabajar en otros países de América Latina. Impulsamos una reforma legislativa para castigar esta violencia y para reconocerla dentro de la ley de mi país, y con esto se obliga a las instituciones a crear mecanismos que combatan y que prevengan la violencia en línea contra mujeres y niñas, una reforma que tuvo origen a raíz de que yo también fui víctima de esta violencia, cuando difundieron contenidos íntimos sin mi consentimiento y mi país no estaba legislado. Y a partir de ahí, bueno, comenzó la lucha desde la resiliencia, desde el amor propio, desde la salvación de una, desde la justicia para todas y para que lo que no fue para mí sea justamente para otra. Y a raíz de eso, bueno, esa reforma tuvo el nombre de la Ley Olimpia y que, bueno, hoy estamos trabajando todavía para su implementación y para lograr espacios seguros también en Internet para mujeres y niñas.
Gracias, Olympia. And Veronica, are you here?
Hi, everyone.
Yes.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. My name is Veronica Ngum. I'm a woman with disability from Cameroon. I am the Chief Executive Officer, founder of the Community Association for Vulnerable Persons. I work to end gender-based violence and stigma faced by women and girls with disabilities, teenage mothers and girls living with HIV/AIDS. It's my pleasure to be on this call today. Thank you.
Welcome, Veronica. I'm glad the internet's cooperating. I know you'll be on and off of the video as we go forward.
Yes, sure.
Kirti.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kirti, and I'm from Chennai, a city in the south of India. I founded and run an initiative called Sahas, which is a piece of feminist peace tech that supports survivors across 196 countries, survivors of gender-based violence specifically. Sahas incidentally turns 5 today, and over these 5 years, I've supported close to 40,000 survivors and trained a little over 7,000 bystanders towards intervening in situations of violence. Really excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. And over to you, Jensina.
Welcome, everyone. Carolyn, starting with you, the report, digital skills came through very strongly in 2 of the top recommendations. More digital skills, but also more digital skills trainings led by women and girls. And you've been doing this training for over a decade. So, why do you think digital skills training is so important and for it to be led by women and girls as well?
Thank you, Anthony. I'll respond to that by quickly sharing 2 stories from our digital skills programs for adolescent girls. So 15-year-old Chinyere was one of the girls that participated in our Tech Tackle Hackathon program. She was so passionate about coding, and her passion grew even stronger after her team won the hackathon competition we organized for 10 schools. She and her peers won the first laptop computers from their success at the hackathon. And we had the apps they had learned to code with installed on their laptops and ensured that they continued to receive mentorship from our tech women trainers. When Chinyere traveled to her village for Christmas, she gathered the girls in her village and used her new computer to teach them how to code. Yes, totally inspiring. My second story is about some of the girls who participated in our Tech Girls Advocacy program. One of the streams of the program was to build girls' skills in animation so they can champion advocacy through animation stories. At the start of the program for the second cohort of girls, we shared the animation stories created by the first cohort. And I said to the girls, you'll be learning how to sketch your animation stories and paint on the computer. The girls expressed shock and disbelief that they could ever achieve that. And we only saw them build some faith when they saw the photos that convinced them that the animation stories we were showing to them had been created by girls like them. So we've seen the combination of the peer inspiration and having professional tech women trainers proved to sustain the interest of girls and build their passion around digital skills. These girls went on to do so well in their exhibition event, and they were able to champion advocacy around issues of ending child marriage, ending gender-based violence, and promoting girls' education. So yes, it is very important that digital skills training are led by girls and women because they are more impactful and inspire girls and women to believe that they can acquire any digital skills that they desire. And they can be empowered to thrive in the space, to empower other girls and women too.
You have been daily working on the skills training, and what do you think it's going to take? What do you think is an essential ingredient to dramatically expand skills training across Nigeria, yes, but also at the global level?
Thank you, Anthony. I would say access. Access is key, and this speaks to what we've heard already from the highlights of the She Transforms Tech report. And when I say access, I mean this in two ways. First, access to digital devices to help girls practice and perfect the digital skills that they acquire. And secondly, access to fast and affordable internet so they can maintain access to all the resources available to them online. I believe that girls are a force for change on our planet, but we need to invest in girls so they can build the skills that empower them to contribute significantly to development in our societies. We all need to do what best serves girls in our communities. In my community, for example, girls are marginalized and excluded from opportunities to build digital skills. So we host training workshops, hackathons, exhibition events, and other activities that expose adolescent girls to digital skills and encourage them to explore those skills to innovate solutions to critical social issues affecting them. To expand skills training for girls in my community, we're also building creative safe spaces for the next generation of female innovators who are seeking mentors and allies in this male-dominated world of technology. When girls and women support each other, we believe we can achieve anything. And this is evident in our stories at WorldPulse as well. Here I join with my amazing sisters, each leader driving change in her community. And together we're contributing to gender justice in the tech world and bridging the gender divide in our world. I believe this is the world we want to build for girls and women in our world. So thank you again for having me.
Yes, and with access being a key ingredient, one of the things that I think is so powerful about your work is seeing you, Carolyn, who are also advocating with decision makers and the technology industry for greater low-cost internet access, more widely available, and also working with the girls, right?
Exactly.
To have them reach out to decision makers and policy makers.
Exactly.
It's very, very powerful.
Our voices are powerful together.
Yes, and you're bringing on a whole stream of them. So let's move across the world. Let's go to Mexico and look at another issue from the report, which was the violence, cyber violence. Olympia, it's incredible you shared the work that you've done to actually fight back against revenge porn, to pass a law, the Olympia's law. Can you talk to us a little more about what was the impetus for that law? How did you go about passing it? And why do you think it's so important that we are moving into the legal space?
Bueno, primero estoy muy contenta de estar con ustedes y compartir este foro y conocer pues todas las cosas que hacemos principalmente las mujeres. En primer lugar, creo que es necesario hablar de que las leyes y el Estado las hacen los hombres. Son ellos quienes deciden todo lo que nos gobierna, lo que nos hace sin una perspectiva precisamente de las mujeres, de nuestros sentires. Y por supuesto sin una visión desde nuestros cuerpos y sobre todo desde lo que habitamos las mujeres en los espacios ahora digitalizados. Entonces, pues primero, Ley Olimpia no es solo una reforma legislativa, es una causa. No solamente hemos luchado porque se reconozca dentro de la ley de acceso la violencia digital, para que con esto no sea por buena fe, sino por obligatoriedad, el hecho de que combatan y prevengan. Y no solamente es el castigo, sino también el cambio de paradigma de la sociedad. En un país en donde yo vivo que asesinan a 11 mujeres al día por el simplemente hecho de ser mujeres, en un país en donde somos el número 1 en pornografía infantil y que incluso algunos estudios nos han dado a conocer que somos los número 1 en América Latina en producción de sexting, ¿no? Y esto significa una alerta para poder aprender a dominar las tecnologías, pero también desde los ámbitos íntimos y sexuales para las mujeres y para las niñas. Entonces, Ley Olimpia, en un país tan machista, ¿no? En donde toda la responsabilidad se le da a las mujeres, porque si salimos en falda, somos culpables de ser violadas. Si salimos de noche, somos culpables de ser secuestradas. Si hacemos sexting, somos culpables de haber vivido violencia sexual en Internet, ¿no? Entonces, Ley Olimpia lo que viene a hacer es primero cambiar este paradigma, en primer lugar, con un hashtag que lanzamos una campaña que lo virtual es real, que existe, que daña. Lo segundo es que las víctimas no tienen la culpa. Y lo tercero es que la responsabilidad completa de habitar un mundo en tecnología igualitario y con derechos, pues es de todas las personas, de la iniciativa privada y de todos los que habitamos este mundo, tanto offline y online. Entonces, a partir de ahí, bueno, Ley Olimpia ha sido aprobada en todo el país. Sin embargo, todavía tiene muchos retos, como el hecho de la capacitación, la instrumentación, la firma de algunos tratados internacionales internacionales, también el hecho de la profesionalización. Estamos por lanzar algunos proyectos en educación digital. Creemos que una de las mejores maneras de prevenir esta violencia justamente es el hecho de no solamente educar desde lo tangible, lo visible, ¿no? El software o el hardware para las niñas y niños, sino la educación digital, ¿no? La no deshumanización del Internet. Y también, bueno, hemos hecho desde Defensoras Digitales, que es justamente una de las cosas que estamos por hacer, un observatorio de violencia digital, justamente para ver estos grandes mercados de explotación sexual en línea, que son no romantizados y normalizados ante la sociedad machista y patriarcal como páginas porno, que en realidad son mercados de explotación sexual donde cosifican, ¿sí? Y minimizan nuestros cuerpos al placer sexual masculino. Entonces, Ley Olimpia va más allá de solo una reforma. Lo que estamos tratando de hacer con este cambio, primero desde el Estado y por supuesto desde todos los espacios que habitamos, es meter la justa y digna idea de que las mujeres tenemos derecho a poder estar seguras también en Internet y tenemos derecho también a quitar la romantización y a deconstruir nuestros cuerpos, nuestro sexo a través de la tecnología.
Your words are so inspiring for us to believe that we can, as individuals, also work to push in movement and make legal change. So for people who are watching who may think, I want to work to change these laws, you're creating this model, I think, that can be replicated. And can people reach out to you? Is there a good website or information so people who want to do this themselves can connect with you?
Sí, para nosotras era importantísimo. Les cuento brevemente algo de lo que para nosotros fue muy curioso saber en México, pero que además ahora que tenemos la oportunidad de conectarnos con mujeres de todo el mundo y de América Latina, ahora lo vemos con cierta burla, recordando un poco el pasado. Cuando iniciamos con esta lucha y debido a que fui sobreviviente de esta violencia, que viví en carne propia, se le apropia el nombre de Ley Olimpia. Entonces, una de las cosas principales que decían los legisladores era, o se cuestionaban, ¿por qué se llama la Ley Olimpia? Como si así quedara en las constituciones, como si así quedara en los códigos, como si así se pusiera dentro de la ley, ¿no? Es una manera simbólica de haberla llamado. Pero en este lugar, en este mundo que habitamos, cuando las leyes o nuestros héroes patrióticos, nuestros héroes históricos, sí tienen nombres de hombres, y cuando alguien simbólicamente le apropia a un cambio legislativo, que además nosotras hicimos, nosotras redactamos, nosotras investigamos, se le apropia el nombre de una mujer, el primer cuestionamiento de Ley Olimpia ni siquiera fue el contenido, fue ¿por qué le dicen la Ley Olimpia? ¿No? Es una cuestión sumamente machista. Entonces, seguramente con esas cosas nos vamos a enfrentar cuando las mujeres intervenimos, cuando las mujeres levantamos la voz, cuando las mujeres pedimos lo que nos han arrebatado. O sea, siempre es igual. Pero debemos de seguir haciéndolo, porque es perfectible, por supuesto que sí. Es cuestionable, claro, es un cambio jurídico, donde hicimos un dogma por primera vez, pusimos un terrenito en algo que no había y que había acercamientos, pero que no existía. Pero la lupa de la misoginia no tiene que estarse dando completamente hacia fiscalizarnos, sino a contribuir a ayudar. Entonces, bueno, es un modelo que nos podemos nosotras compartir en todo el mundo, desde Defensoras Digitales, www.defensorasdigitales.org, al correo electrónico leyolimpia@gmail.com, y estamos como Frente Nacional para la Sororidad. El secreto no solamente está en participar, el secreto no solamente está en alzar la mano, sino hoy desde el feminismo, desde la resiliencia, desde la digna rabia, les demostramos a un país que podemos decirle al Estado cómo hacer las cosas, y ojalá pudiéramos así demostrárselo a todo un continente o a todo un mundo, que cuando las mujeres intervenimos en la construcción, las cosas siempre son mejores, porque cuando lo hacemos para una o cuando se salva una, lo hacemos para todas y no sin una estrategia política, porque claro que hacemos política, pero política feminista, claro que nos organizamos y claro que tejemos. La Ley Olimpia no la hice sola, la hemos hecho decenas y decenas de mujeres que decidimos justamente luchar para lo que no fue para nosotras, sea para otras compañeras, empezando por el reconocimiento de esta violencia y hoy el acercamiento o el sueño de hacer justicia para todas y la no reincidencia para las futuras generaciones de niñas y adolescentes e infancias.
Thank you, Olympia, for your leadership. And by the way, love the name of the law. I think it makes it so accessible where we feel like, oh, I could do this myself. Let's travel to Africa now. And Veronica, you are working in communities, those who are disabled. You are World Pulse Digital Ambassador who has learned how to inclusively share digital skills and bring the voices online of those that are less heard. But you're also working in a conflict zone and have so many barriers. Could you talk to us a little bit about what some of the challenges are that you face, but even more importantly, how are you overcoming those barriers?
Thank you, Jessie, for giving me the floor. It is my pleasure to share our challenges as women with disability, speaking for the voice of women with disability in Cameroon in the war, in a conflict zone. Women with disability naturally have face stigma. Teenage mothers and women living with HIV/AIDS have faced stigma in a general way. And when we face stigma, we are limited access opportunities because of discrimination and marginalization. Now in the conflict zone, we are facing the experiences of missing out on a lot of humanitarian assistance because we don't have access information due to the fact that we don't have digital tools that can link us to that information. And when we talk about access to digital tools for the context disability is a bit more detailed because a person with disability should not just have access to a digital tool, but that digital tool should also have the access software that will meet the challenge that that specific type of disability is facing. Because we have different categories of disability in varied degrees. So digital tools should be in the manner that will be accessible and affordable for women and girls with disability. So most of us in this conflict zone, we face barriers to digital access. Like I always have challenge with the connections when I'm on WordPress. Every time I can't stay on my camera because they have limited our bandwidth. They always cause us to
Of course, to perfectly illustrate.
Have internet blackout because they want to regulate the fake news that is going on, not knowing that the digital world has digital tools. They don't have opportunities. Digital training centers are inaccessible. The digital tools do not meet the requirements. They are not accessible to meet the disability needs of other of specific types of disability and their degree. And specifically for women, in the general context, they don't see the need for a woman to have access to digital skills because they think digital is mostly for men. So being a woman with disability with double discrimination is even worse. So I do my best to ensure that I make women with disability, teenage mothers and women with HIV/AIDS know that it is their right, it is their right, and we all have to advocate to have access, equal rights and equal access to digitality. Thank you, and over to you.
Veronica, I know you have so much vision to expand the work, and I know you want to. What are the things that could power your work, that could support you?
Okay, thank you. I'll start with the World Pulse community, which has been very supportive. It's a very good network. It's a very good platform for women who are still growing in their career and who have also grown. And I appreciate the World Pulse platform because it is a springboard that sends you high to access digital opportunities. It gives you opportunities to partner, which I see as a key support to our work to grow, give us opportunity for collaboration. So if my works can have partnership with recommendation from other people who already know my work, it is going to really grow and help more women with disability to have the funds to be able to access the accessible digital skills. And also, we are looking for that hopefully one day we can have a digital empowerment training center specific for women and girls with disability that has been created and initiated by women with disability. That is going to be a great innovation in our country that is rare. So I think partnerships, collaborations, and recommendations for funds by World Pulse community and other partners that already know our work, it's going to power my work very strongly. Thank you, and over to you.
Wow, Veronica. I mean, I can see that center now, and we've shared Veronica's contact information in the chat. So if you'd like to partner, support with resources in any way to make this vision real, thank you. Let's hop over to India and to you, Kirti. One of the recommendations very strongly is safe and online communities for women. And so Kirti, not only are you a part of World Pulse, but you've also created your own spaces to help women report, recover from violence. For you, I mean, this has been your life's work. So what are the ingredients in your mind for true safety online? And what does the technology world look like when those online spaces are safe on a wider scale?
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Jensina, for these questions, and congratulations on the launch of the She Transforms Tech report. What I'd like to start with is to acknowledge the fact that the internet is a public space, and so it carries with it, much like all the public spaces offline, the same conditioning, beliefs, and patriarchal thoughts, which we've considered normal and in so many ways normalized around us. So what I found key across the 40,000 survivors I've worked with in one way or another is that access to information is empowering. When a survivor knows how to report an incident of violence that she's faced, or when she knows where to go, or just how to frame that report when she has to go to an institution like the police, when she has a sense of community and sisterhood to fall back on, like a platform that World Pulse offers to women, these things go a long way in making sure that the internet is a safe space, is a space where women can thrive, where women can come together and achieve their fullest potential. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that the internet that we're all dreaming of is a feminist space that's inclusive, compassionate, empathy-led, and a transformative space, which speaks to the fact that we're not here to build back better, but here to build forward. And on that note, in terms of what's possible if these safe spaces are available, I would say that a platform like World Pulse would become the norm rather than the exception. And to answer this, I'd just like to invite everyone that's listening in to just look at Carolyn, Olympia, Veronica, myself, and so many of our sisters were also members of World Pulse and attendees in today's event. Spaces like World Pulse will not just be limited to OACs anymore, but really become the ocean where women can thrive in sisterhood together.
That's incredible, Kirti. We are going to move on to our last speaker from Fiji, and so we're gonna roll the tape with Sharon Bagan-Rolls, who is a prominent leader in multiple feminist movements across the world. So if we could switch over to that. All right, we're coming to the close of the webinar, and what we want to do is do a double click on feminist movements and the power shift that's possible. So we're so excited to have you here today, Sharon, on your time zone, on your time clock. And you yourself hold such a large array of leadership roles, from sitting on the board and and being a leader with the Generation Equality Forum, from the Global Fund for Women, with World Pulse, with YWCA Fiji, and more, and I could go on and on. But you sit in this nexus of so many movements and so many organizations, and logging on mainly from Fiji, and some might consider, you know, the Pacific Islands a periphery, and yet you're bringing them into the center. And so could you just give us some examples of how you're using technology today to shift power, bringing voices from the Pacific Islands to the center?
So for me, coming out of the broadcast media, voice is so critical, but I've also identified the need to look at how can we use mobile phone technology, for example. How do we make mobile phone technology interoperable in a way that it also connects to other communication platforms? So we have SMS technology that women are using in Vanuatu through Women Wet and Weather, through our new Mary Got Information hubs in Bougainville and Port Moresby as part of the Shifting the Power Coalition response to COVID-19, to be able to get women to share and receive information. So around COVID-19, around weather, around disasters. So for me, it's how do we use technology in a way that is empowering, that is accessible, that is appropriate, and how do we not also lose sight of what we have within our Pacific cultures, which is weaving together conversations, sitting on a mat and having conversations. And last year, the Shifting the Power Coalition developed a concept simply called On the Mat, where we said, this is not a training, this is not a workshop, this is just bringing women together to sit down and talk about issues, global issues connected to the local, and then using that space to then document their voice and sharing it further. So, I mean, I think that's one of the beauties about technology is you can use it any way you want to empower, to educate, to inform, and to liberate as well.
Mm-hmm. And so many great examples of how you are within your community, going to where the communities are, selecting from a variety of technologies to that are relevant in that context, weaving them together. And I notice how so much of the innovation of what your communities are creating are this offline and online connection coming together. How, you know, taking this out on a bigger global scale, what's your vision for how we can blend tech with community organizing to strengthen gender justice movements as a whole? I know that's a big question.
Very big question, but thank you for the question, particularly for me here in the Pacific, where sometimes we can feel the disconnect, particularly with the US, where there is so much of this creation around new information communication technology. So for me, we need a greater focus on feminist approaches to technology, which means not just getting all excited about this is shiny and new, but is this appropriate? Is this accessible? Is this affordable? And can it also be a safe space as well? Because technology is, you know, the development of technology, as you know, is so competitive. It is profit driven. But how do we also make it community owned and community led as well?
You are working at multiple levels at one time. You're working within your communities on the mat, as you say. You're working within regional alliances. You're working at a global level within the UN. And people here watching the webinar are coming in from all of those same levels with regional collaborations at the global level. Do you have any advice or any key recommendations of what specifically folks can do to wherever they are, whether you're working in a community setting or whether you're at the UN level, to digitally strengthen digital power for women and girls in gender diverse communities?
Thing is let's not be afraid of technology. And I always think about my late mother, who was a stenographer, and she really got me into this kind of space because she was adapting to new technology all the time, you know, going back to the use of fax machines and telex machines. So that's something that I think as women, we need to really own. We know that quite often, even if a woman does have a mobile phone,
or even access to a radio, sometimes she doesn't have the power to control the use. So we need to look at the other issues, the other equality environment space, if you want, to really see what does that ownership look like. And that's something that political decision makers need to remember, is it's not just about the equipment, or as one man once said, well, I can buy 5 suitcase radio stations, where do I put them? It's not about that. It's creating that enabling environment. So we also need the safe online spaces such as World Pulse has created, to be able to get women into those spaces, to have the freedom to feel free to talk about their issues. And that's where we need the community platforms, and then of course the digital platforms as well. And so we need that platform where we can create and uplift and amplify the voice of women, to bring attention to our political leaders of exactly what they need to do, what their responsibility is, if we want to achieve, a new generation of equality, if we want to progress women's rights, and to see that the future is indeed feminist.
Mm. Thank you for your words here today, Sharon. Thank you for your leadership. I hope people watching today will continue to reach out and collaborate with you as you move forward with the movements that you're part of. Thank you so much, Sharon, and hope you have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
And now turning it over to Anna. I think we've done the impossible, near impossible, of traveling the world with 5 voices in such a short time.
Indeed, and thank you, Jensina. I don't know about you, but every time I have the privilege to listen to these wonderful women and their groundbreaking work, I mean, all of them, we're just blown away by everything these women are doing and by everything that can be done. That being said, Jensina, can you share a bit about what World Pulse's takeaway was from the research and the more than a decade of experience we have working in this space, but most importantly, what is next?
Yes, so we're about taking research into action, and what's next for us, no matter what, fundamentally, we deeply believe in the importance of listening to the voices that are most impacted, leading the solutions, and not just individual solutions, but network solutions. So there are 3 areas that we as World Pulse are specifically looking to carry forward. First is innovating safe, empowering online spaces. Secondly, ensuring that there's space for the global voices in tech to be speaking for ourselves and to be heard. And then thirdly, around the issue of digital skills that are inclusive, that are intersectional, we are building a new commitment called the Her Digital Leadership Alliance as part of the Generation Equality Forum coming up here at the end of the month. So first, we know that we hear this again and again, how vital safe spaces are. So today we're pleased to announce that there will be a new evolution, a new upgraded World Pulse launching at the end of the year that will be continuing to embed global feminist community co-design. There will be a new design justice board that is beginning to inform design sprints on an ongoing basis. And of course, the safe, supportive community moderation that we're used to with the consentful tech practices. Additionally, there will be many other features that will be supporting voice, leadership, collaboration, and movements, just reinforcing that digital empowerment framework that Jasmine spoke about. And then secondly, of course, World Pulse is a place where you can hear directly from the practitioners, from the advocates, from the storytellers, the leaders, and emerging voices for themselves. And there is a new online tech hub that is nested on worldpulse.com, where you can go to connect with thousands of these voices, these stories. And so if you are looking for a speaker on a panel, if you are looking to do research, if you are looking for a story that illustrates a statistic or a data point, you can come to World Pulse to find that. You can, of course, contribute your own voices, initiatives, and stories. But we are here, so you can always also reach out to the staff if there's anything in particular that you're looking for. And then lastly, the Her Digital Leadership Alliance is designed to be very inclusive and have synergy with the many different groups around digital skilling that are already underway. This is essentially a 5-year commitment to build a global force, a global network of 20,000 women, girl, and gender expansive leaders in 50+ countries, and equipping with digital leadership, digital advocacy, and digital training skills to become trainers themselves. And with that, I will take us to a short video to illustrate the alliance and bring it to life.
Globally, women are 25% less likely than men to have digital skills.
But I am one of the ones who do.
Only 6% of app developers are women.
But I am one of them.
We are logging on and rising up. Join us.
And this announcement is just the beginning. We hope to collaborate with you, whether you are a digital skills trainer or movement builder, or you want to be, whether you're an organization or a policymaker, please reach out to us. We welcome you to be involved at partner@worldpulse.com. And this is all a part of a wider ecosystem with the Generation Equality Forum, the exciting Technology and Innovation Action Coalition collaboration. This is just a piece of a very exciting ecosystem that is getting stronger. And also, if you are using the report, let us know if there's anything that we can provide to help you take these recommendations into action. We are here. Anna, we're in the final moments. Can you take it away to bring us home?
Thank you. And just to follow up on what you just mentioned, we have some ideas for next steps for you. We would love to stay in touch, as Jensina mentioned. We want to hear about your commitments, ideas for collaboration. We would also love to have your feedback on this session, the She Transforms Tech findings you learned about today, and on the report once you get around to checking it out. And in order for us to do that, please fill out the Google Form survey that is being shared in the chat, please. And of course, we invite you to download the She Transforms Tech report. The link is in the chat too. And once you get to read it, take action on at least one recommendation and let us know about it. Tell us if any of the stories or initiatives highlighted there resonated with you. And if you'd like us to put us in touch with, you in touch with any of these inspiring women, let us know too. Their contact email is in the chat too. It's partner@worldpulse.com. Don't forget to register to the Generation Equality Forum. forum. And you can also visit or join the World Pulse community to listen to more women leaders and for you to speak up on how to transform technology or how you're transforming technology, share your stories, ideas, and experiences, and connect with others. Everyone is welcome. Once there, you can visit the She Transforms Tech Hub that Jensina mentioned too for more stories on technology. By the way, we're going to stay around for like 5 to 10 more minutes if you have additional questions so we can chat. But we would like to leave you with the words of one of the She Transforms Tech participants from the UK. If technology is designed to meet those to whom it is least accessible, then it will, in theory, be accessible to all. And that will be all. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed this as much as we did. We are conscious of the time, but if you have additional questions, stick around for a few minutes. And of course, contact us. Until then, we hope you log on and rise up with us.